You mentioned Leonard Cohen.
Yes.
And I'm fascinated to know, I don't know the backstory of how he not only entered your life or you entered his or vice or both, but to begin a relationship with him that culminates in him actually being family.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, it's an interesting story because we're all from Montreal. I didn't know him there at all, and my mother didn't know him either.
Oh, your parents?
No, they weren't friends.
Okay.
He was really he was in another kind of band of crazies, and he was also a little older. I was about 10 years older than my mother. So, but he was more in the literary poetry scene in Montreal. So it was different. But when I came to Los Angeles, we all loved his music and knew how great he was and so forth.
And he was considered, even when you were growing up, he was considered a Canadian treasure.
Yes, already, right? yes, very much so. And so we all admired him. But then I moved to LA to make my first album, and I befriended his daughter, Lorca. And we just became very close.
So how did you meet her?
I met her through friends, and I met her through my friend Melissa Oftermauer, who at the time was the bass player in Hole.
Oh yeah.
So it was in that kind of in that orbit, and we just immediately got on and became incredibly close, and there was and for years, I think, because we just had this sort of silly idea, like, wouldn't it be kind of fun to have a baby someday? Like, it was always very light and sort of unfocused.
So this is long before you met your husband.
Yeah, long before, many years before. I mean, but it wasn't like a concrete plan or anything.
Gotcha.
But then time passed, and I met my husband Jorn, and we were together for a few years, and then my mother got sick, and also Leonard lost all his money at one point because of that thing with his manager, and suddenly Lorca was like, I want to do this now, and it just, I think it was the right amount of crazy was occurring in my life. My mother was dying, and I don't know, really my mother was dying, which was like the biggest thing in my life. She was the most important part.
Was she ill for a long time?
About 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. So it all intersected at that point, and next thing you know, we have this amazing daughter, Viva, and
how old?
She's now 14. Yeah. So
how's that?
That's look, it's amazing, but it's also horrifying. It's the gamut. It runs the gamut, as they say. But in terms of Leonard, what's interesting is that, I kind of knew his music. I didn't really know it very well. I didn't know anything, mainly because I was mostly into opera. Like, I really only listened to opera. So I'm kind of annoying in that way. But but in a strange way with Leonard, I think it was an advantage, because he never felt like I was trying to, hook into him or trying to get something from him. Like, I just sort of was this other musician. And then when I made my first album, there was one story that I like to tell where Lorca informed me that there was one song, it was called Sally Ann, that I wrote, and it's actually about Montreal, that for one day, Leonard played all day on his record player,
just
or whatever,
over and
over. So the thought of Leonard kind of dissecting one of my songs that intensely for one day is a great sort of privilege and honor, and then we had just some really great back and forth. He was so impressed when I wrote my first opera, which was very touching. My dad, who I adore, I love my dad, Loudon, but he despises opera with kind of a real passion. He's and he's never gotten my opera thing, really.
But he appreciates
it, though. It's taken a while. He didn't always appreciate it. He was actually pretty negative about it for quite a long time. But
like, what the fuck are you wasting your time with this for?
Yeah, just like, I don't get it. Like, why are you doing that?
Right.
Why are you bringing me here? Right. Kind of thing, like. But he has improved a lot, and he's tried really hard, and he's had some operatic experiences. He loves Nessun Dorma and stuff like that. So So, but when my first opera was composed, Leonard came to me and he said, "This is amazing what you're doing. This is," because I think he also recognizes something that he could never do. You know, something that was outside of his realm, which I think excited him. So we had some really great moments, but it wasn't a ton. Like, you didn't really, unless you were female and attractive, you didn't really hang out with him a lot.
Right. Gotcha.